Hey everyone, I live in this 1989 Ford Aerostar. And this is my pup, Pitty William. Say hi. I originally lived in a 2014 Ram ProMaster, which is there, that my mom now owns. We swapped vans back a couple months ago after needing to find another housing solution after being basically kicked out of the house that I was living in. I decided to go ahead and build out Coco, the van I live in now, and hit the road again. I decided that living nomadically was what I wanted to do, and after living in a house for a few months, after living in this van, I decided that it was time for me to hit the road again. Coco, the van, was acquired when my mom and I took a trip down to LA. She was searching for a van at the time, and we took a trip down and we found her. Bought her from a really nice man who said that he used to take his family down to Mexico to visit their family. From the moment we saw her ad on Craigslist, we knew she was a van that needed to be a part of our family. So I took probably a total of 3 months to build her out, and it was a lot of work. The only tools I used to build her out were a jigsaw, an impact driver, and a drill. I really wished that I had a table saw in the process of building her out, but I just didn't have access to one, so I just used a jigsaw to cut everything painfully. It was so much work. Oh my gosh. Hey everyone, and welcome to my little cabin on wheels. Come on in and make sure you take your shoes off. Welcome to the main part of my van. This is where I have my cabinet area where I store most of the stuff that I take along with me. In this cabinet here I have my clothes. You didn't see that? No. And in this cabinet I have my spices and my utensils, and then I just have like a few dishes that I need to cook, like a couple skillets and some mugs, lots of mugs, because you always need your tea and coffee when you're driving around, and some plates and things. I keep it simple, nothing too wild, you know, just enough to cook one pot things. And then I also have my tea kettle here, very important, hang that right here. And in here I store my laptop usually, and my Nintendo Switch, which I got from my brother for an exorbitantly cheap price because I am really good at talking my little brother into letting me buy things off of him. And then I have a set of cards, playing cards, whatnot. It's mostly just like miscellaneous things. And the cool thing about this is I made a little swivel table. I was like, I can't afford one of those lagoon tables, so why don't I just build my own? So I found this video on YouTube of this guy who was teaching people how to build tables out of galvanized pipes, and yeah, this is my little work table. Here's my little laptop here. Just work here when I edit videos or sound or do whatever I have to do to make the bank. This is my little resin table. It didn't turn out as good as I thought it would, but you know, these are flowers from the last house that I lived in, and you know, it's a little memory. It's not perfect, it works, but yeah, so my table swivels around. It fits perfectly with William, apparently. And you just close that, and then I have little magnetic things here, and then I just close that. And this cabinet, I have more dry foods and canned stuff. My blender, gotta have a blender, and yeah, nothing too wild there. And then in this one, I have my toiletry stuff in this little box, and my little toilet handle. And back here are some of the electronics things that I don't use that often. Just store back there. And then in here I have different things like my hammock, William's toys, garbage bags, yeah, cleaning stuff, and my extra shoes. For some reason all of these things feel like they belong together, so that's why I put them right here. And that brings me to this little area over here. I have a print that my childhood best friend Penelope, this is one of her prints of Tupac that she painted on her own, so I have that right here. Goes with the theme. It's yellow. I love it. And eventually I see for this space a cubic mini stove. Yeah, right here. Ooh. do with that information what you will. I have a fan up here, super nice, max fan. It helps to ventilate the van and make it very cool and fresh in here when we're in warmer places or when we're cooking in here. It's great to have that, and definitely recommend going for the one that's covered, because when it rains I can even have the air venting through, which is great, so it doesn't get too humid in here. And then I have two sets of things, lights and USB chargers here. This one runs off of my 1000-watt inverter, and I have a little dimmer light here that when you press and hold it, the lights go lower and higher. And then my little USB port there. The light does get kind of annoying, so at night I use this pillow to cover it. And yeah, this is pretty much this area. Have a little miscellaneous things area. No matter how hard you try to get rid of stuff and make sure everything has a use and a place, sometimes it's not possible. That's what this box is for. Alright, so we're pretty much halfway done with the van build already. It's such a tiny space, but the most important part of the van, to me at least because I'm a foodie, is the kitchen area. So I had to fit a lot of essential things in such a tiny little space that I had to make some compromises in terms of like the maneuverability of things, but I have everything that I need in here. So when you open up this little hatch door here, this contains William's food dish, which needs a wash. My little Coleman butane stove, which also needs a wash. That just a one burner with some butane fuel that works really well. Just cook a lot of one pot things. And William's little food holder, which I need to make him some more food. And then in here I have a Dometic 12-volt fridge that I had to basically build around, and it's stuck in here now, but it works, and I'm really happy that I have the extra space to fit food because it allows you to go out in the forest for longer without having to leave. That is this little hatch thing, and it's being held up by a little gas strut, which is really helpful when I'm shuffling things around the fridge. So the next important thing in a kitchen is to have your sink. I chose a sink with high edges just because it's such a small space and water tends to splash around a lot, and so I thought this would kind of mitigate some of that. So this is my little square sink. I wash my hair in it, I do my dishes, wash my face, and I do pretty much anything water related with this sink. I mean, duh. Yeah, so I have a water pump and I just turn that on. And voila! Water! Yeah! You gotta conserve your water when you're only living on 15 gallons of water at a time. So I'll show you where that water goes in the front, but yeah, that's all piped in and on a 12-volt pump, and yeah, I do all my washings there. I have these two spray bottles. This one is for soap and water, so I can spray down all my dishes and then scrub them and then rinse them. Saves a lot of water. And then this is my bottle, which I currently need to fill with vinegar and water that I use for my composting toilet, which I will show you next. This is where my composting toilet lives. It has the biggest door in the van. Doesn't mean it's the most important. I guess it's kind of important. Especially during the pandemic, I thought it was really vital to put in a composting toilet, some way to relieve myself when I don't have access to a safe bathroom solution. So yeah, I put in a Nature's Head toilet. Has a fan on it, so it vents out pretty much all of the smells. You do have to be careful about dumping your number one a lot. I learned the hard way. But yeah, this pulls out and it turns around and I sit right here on it. And then, well, last but not least, in the kitchen area, I have this little door, which includes my trash can, my teepee roll holder. This is RV ply toilet paper, just so that it breaks down faster in my composting toilet, though it's not necessary. And, oh, I also have my fire extinguisher in there. And I also have, this is where the bottle for my soap dispenser hangs. It's nice to not have a soap bottle just floating around your van and the possibility of your whole van getting soapy is completely avoided with that. When it's nighttime, I close all my curtains that I hand sewed. My mom did some of them, and yeah, we hand sewed all of the curtains, and I close those back like this, and I obviously tuck them in and do it better, but yep, I have my little curtains. I close all of them, and now I'm going to show you how I set up my bed. You're probably wondering, how the heck do I set up a bed with a large dog in the van at the same time? This is how we do it. Hey William, it's time to make the bed. Come over here. Go here. Go here. He knows, he's so smart. I move away all of the stuff here. Good boy, stay. And then I move my cushions out like this. And I lift up this little thing, bed thing here. I haven't decided if I want to change it or not, although we've really got our system down, but it flaps under, and I roll this out like that. William's not a big fan of this process. And I still haven't gotten around to making a little leg for the bed, but this is my solution, my multi-purpose solution for the bed leg. Put that under. And I put my cushions in like so. Go there, William. Dun da da da, and then you just squeeze in your pillows. And then I use a flat sheet and I just put that out and put my pillows down, and good night everyone, I'm gonna take a nap now. So the size of this bed is 11 inches smaller than a full, and just as long as a normal full-size bed. It is 75 inches long, so yeah, lots of space to sleep. All of these cushions were hand upholstered. The first half of them we sewed with my really bad sewing machine, and then the second half of them we sewed by hand. So that was a labor of love. I definitely think I cried. So under here I have a little more storage. It's a lot less organized because I don't go in here that often. It's kind of a pain to have to lift this up. But in here I have project stuff. I need to add a water filter to my water system. I have this, which I need to give away. So there's a lot of stuff here, just like hobby things like knitting, which I'm gonna get back into once it gets colder. And I have like towels and extra sheets, and apparently some garbanzo beans. But this is all just extra storage stuff that I don't access that often. All of the things that require electricity are up here. All of their wiring is wired back through here into the stuff. William. So this is the back of the van. This is one of those projects I still need to finish, is put the door on the electronics section. But this is my battery bank and my inverter and my charge controller and my fuse box and my everything. If you're interested in checking out my electrical video, I will definitely link that so you can see how everything's put together. And then this is my laundry bag and a little picnic blanket that I set right here. I don't know, it just kind of worked out that way. I didn't plan to put laundry here, but it fits there, so that's where it goes. This is my other storage area. I'll just move this pillow completely. It's my other little storage area. If you open it up, I currently have my warm weather clothing inside there, and I have my things like dog shampoo and different hardware and things to fix the van when it breaks. Pretty simple. A sleeping bag for when it gets really cold too. That is that. Last of my storage. We're in the front of the van now, where I spend a good amount of my time because we drive a lot to places. This is my little box area, and I made this little weird box contraption thing to keep like the toilet, because the toilet sticks out a little bit to the front, so I covered it with wood. And then I made a little box where I hold my 5-gallon water jug, and I have 3 of those, and I just fill those up with water and replace them as needed. That's my little water solution there. And then in here I have a little storage for shopping bags, coffee, which I haven't finished, which I actually want to take a sip of, and my speaker, because my speaker system is not set up yet. And this is William's little bed here. He lays up here. This is where I store my other water stuff, extra engine oil, William's dry food, which I'm out of. We have to go buy some of that. And my rain boots are up here too. This is a cool little feature that my mom and I added to both of our vans, little CB radios, a little old school technology. If you're ever out there, flip to channel 3 on your CB radio and maybe we can communicate. So yeah, we just talk on to the CB radio just like this. Yeah, so that's the front of the van. Got a map of Glacier National. I love it. I love driving in this van. This van was inspired by the shuttles that they were building at the time in NASA, apparently. Whenever I'm driving up here, I just pretend like I'm driving a giant spaceship. So that's the front of the van. Pretty simple. These are my solar panels. My mom actually installed these when she owned the van, but I have 3 100-watt solar panels and seem to do the job so far. And this is the little antenna that we have for our CB radio. Last but not least, this is my little floating table that I have to cook and stand up work on and do whatever I feel like. I could draw a picture on here if I wanted. Yeah, just wanted to show you that. So I think this lifestyle is becoming more and more popular, and I think that's really a good thing. As the world is changing and the need for housing is really becoming an issue that is moving to the forefront more, I think it's really great that this is a lifestyle that you can consider. Though it can be really frustrating and challenging sometimes, and building out a van is a lot of work, I really feel like it's rewarding. It's allowed me time and energy to focus on the things that are the most important to me. It's so nice waking up in the morning and having everything I need with me in one spot, but I'm in nature and I only really use the things that are in my van. So besides the minimalism and being able to explore, I feel like this van has really freed me to find who I am inside and not be distracted by the social norms. I'm 23 and I feel like so many people my age are pressured into having to find the perfect job and find the partner who you can build a family with and finding the perfect house and having all these things that deep down inside, those things aren't for everybody. And for me, I feel like the things that really fulfill me are more of an inward thing and growing as a person and fostering relationships that are really important to me. So this lifestyle really allows me to afford that. So as for if I will live this life forever, I don't know. I think that I want to live nomadically for a very long time because there's just so much to see in the world, and even in my own country. I've changed so much since shifting my lifestyle to a more nomadic one. I feel like as a young woman, it's amazing to be able to step outside and push yourself and challenge yourself to maybe go down the road that's a little scary for you, but you know you're going to be okay. I think there's something really amazing and powerful as a woman, and especially a woman of color, to be able to feel free enough and brave enough to push yourself out of your comfort zone, and you'll learn a lot from yourself.